Hi guys, welcome to Happy Visas. I've been asked a question about what are the things I don't like about Russia? What do I dislike about Russia, the Russian people? So it was a fair question. I've said a lot of good things about Russia. I'm very pro-Russian, as you know. So I'm just going to tell you a few things that, I dislike. I think the number one thing that I dislike is the drivers. Russian drivers, they all think they're Mario Andretti, Michael Schumacher. Boy, do they drive fast. And they don't seem to care. Things have got better. They have improved with cameras and speed cameras and things like that. They're starting to get penalties and fines. So things have improved. But yeah, you come to a zebra crossing and 50% of the time the cars will just drive straight through it. They're not going to stop for you. So you've got to be very, very careful. You've got to give way to the cars. Another thing that I dislike, the scooters. All over Russia, every major city, every major town, everybody's riding in some of these scooters. And with me and my little boy, a few times he's nearly had an accident. I always hold his hand now, because if he's on his not electric scooter, they call them samokats. I'm talking about electric scooters, by the way. When he's on his normal scooter, often these electric scooters are going past at 100 miles an hour. They're trying to deliver their food, or they're trying to get to the office, or whatever, a lot of food deliveries. And they've also got electric bikes, and they don't care whether it's on the pavement, whether it's on whether it's in a no-go area. Very, very aggressive there. Another thing I dislike about Russian people is everybody thinks grass is greener on the other side. Everybody thinks, well, let me correct that. 50% of people, for example, most people outside of Moscow want to move to Moscow, and most people in Moscow think grass is greener on the other side. In Europe, they don't realize they're in the best country in the world. I've lived in Perm, amazing city, absolutely fantastic. I've lived in Moscow, absolutely amazing city, affordable. As I've said before, purchasing power parity, great standard of living. Obviously, the qualifications are recognised in Russia. A bit of a dislike that people believe that paradise is not in Russia. And I tell them all the time, look, you're in the best city in the world, the best country in the world. So that's a couple of things I dislike about Russia. The aggressive driving, people also on the side of the streets, on the samokats, the electric scooters, and that people think that grass is greener on the other side, when actually they're already in a great country. In the good old days, what I disliked, that's changed now, but in the good old days, late 90s, late 1990s, early 20s, whenever you went to do business, they got out the bottle of vodka. And if you didn't drink, I still come across it occasionally, where before you can do any business, you've got to have a shot of vodka or a shot of whiskey. And, I didn't like that. Oh boy, sometimes to get that contract, I would have a massive hangover, massive headache. On the flip side, I met a good friend, a good contact for the future. Them are the main things I dislike about Russia. I think they're small, I think they're trivial. Some people might think it's not. And just, guys, about the vodka and the whiskey, that doesn't happen so often now. Occasionally it does, but, they're more beer drinkers now, they're more wine drinkers, so things have changed a lot. Guys, I don't get paid for these videos, so please subscribe, please like, and please buy me a coffee. The link's below. At least then I can feed my wife and my children. Cheers, guys. Thank you.